We're back. I think we're back. Can anybody hear me? Okay. So, I have no idea what was going on because my internet looked good. The bitrate looked fine. So, I've unplugged and replugged my I've completely reset my Wi-Fi, and hopefully things will have improved. And if they don't, then we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Okay, so where were we? Epicosity with a good chameleon play. Snuck in, got a Falcon Warren and 2 farms. Did lose 1 chameleon, but it's a pretty good trade. So it's time for Red Knight Gamer to try and come in and see what he can get. Although Epicosity could just go for a base trade. Okay. So the lizards are coming in. I think these 4 cams are going to swing it. Oh, not even the 4 cams. The lizards. The lizards attacking the squirrels over Warrens was really bad for Red Knight Gamer. And now he's in an even worse position. He already lost economy in Warrens, but now he's lost his army as well. He's got rid of the chameleons for now. But holy crap, that has gone terribly for Red Knight Gamer. This is looking really shaky. And Red Knight just stopped moving. There's the surrender. Alright, so Blues take another point. Technically another 2 points due to the attacking bonus. And was that bit laggy as well? If it's still laggy, let me know. Well, he was floating food, but he was floating food because he was at his opponent's base attacking, so I think we can let it slide. Okay. Okay, good. That seemed to have improved matters. Alright, so now we've got a live game. That game was from week 2. This game is from week 3. And what we've got is Gentleman versus... Who are they playing? Gentleman versus Weasel. So that's an eco type against a defensive type. I don't think... I thought defensive... Yeah, eco should win over defensive, shouldn't it? But there doesn't seem to be any bonus here. Or maybe the bonus is just +1. I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure how this works. But there's 4 victory points to be won for Gentleman and 3 to be won for Weasel. Gentleman representing the Royal Knights and Weasel representing the Legion. And there's territory on the line now. There would be already with 4 victory points. Gentleman would have already tipped the scales, but Red really needs to start getting some wins, so a lot of pressure on Weasel. Anyway, let's talk about the game and worry about the meta game later. Is that the right word? Meta game? The grand strategy? I don't know. Anyway, Gentleman's running with Squirrel, Lizard, Pigeon, Falcon, Cam, Boar. And he's up against Squirrel, Pigeon, Skunk, Cam, Boar, Wire. Pretty interesting decks here. The Falcon for Gentleman rather than the Skunks, and the Wire instead of the Lizard. There's only 2 units, but that actually makes a big difference. Field Marshal is going to be so much better against a tier 1. So if Gentleman's going to try and do a Squizzard loadout, then I think it's not going to work as well. The thing is, Field Marshal's only got the Squirrels to shoot up, so if Gentleman starts massing Falcons, then I think Field Marshal's in big trouble. It's also very interesting that both players are running Boar. Since Gentleman is a mercenary, the type advantage only gives 1 additional victory point. Right. Thank you, Premium. It's just, yeah, metagame is like beyond the game, but, you know, it's got a different meaning, especially in the context of video games, so I don't know if it is appropriate. It'd be better if I could think of another word, just for the sake of clarity. But anyway, well done, Epicosity. Bad luck to Red Knight Gamer, if you're watching. Happens to the best of us. That was a very sneaky cam run by you were doing last game, and that really tipped the scales. I've got tipped the scales on my brain. I've watched too much of who is it? Nairo's stream, where that's his sub sound, and now I've just got it going around my head for some reason. Anyway, Gentleman taking a quick expand. Field Marshal going up to 21 squirrels. That's an interesting play that I probably should have commented on rather than just talking about scales and metas. But we'll see if not Epicosity. God damn, what is wrong with my head? We'll see if Field Marshal Weasel can bust through here. There's a bit of a squizzard comp, not many lizards up. Defender's advantage is going to be a thing, but... and it might be enough, actually. I didn't think it was going to, but these squirrels, these lizards, just having a couple of them to tank at the front is making it so much harder for Weasel to actually shoot down those back squirrels. And at this point, Gentleman's been... it's only been 1 extra farm, but he's had it for so long. And he took that fight so well that Weasel might actually be out of the game. It's possible, though, with this choke point here, if he can get Gentleman into a bad engagement, he can come back. But Gentleman going for 4 chameleons. What the fuck are you doing, Weasel? That is a ballsy move. Has he seen the tier 2? He has. He's trying to move in. I'm not sure why, but it looks like it's working better. But here comes the chameleon. He's got the pig, so he's not leaving for nothing, but he doesn't get back in time to sell this mill, which I'm pretty sure he would want to do, because now he's just giving up 60 food for free. Like, I can sort of see the logic of setting up here. Defenders, like the reinforcement distance becomes less and you can set up barbed wire, but it's going to be really hard to set up barbed wire when you're this close, because your opponent can just shoot it as it's building. Not to mention he was really betting hard there on no chameleons, which are pretty common tier 2. And speaking of chameleons, Gentleman's about to do something nasty with his. Or not. Field Marshal's pretty on the ball. Is Field Marshal not even going to try expanding? He's going to go for a boar. He's really committing to this one base all in. Okay, now he goes for a second base, but I always think it's too late if you've already started to fallow out. I think you just have to commit to the one base. I don't think you can get your economy up. But he kind of needs to, because I don't think he can get this bought out otherwise. And Gentleman is sitting so pretty on 9 farms. And he manages to pick up a Warren with some sneaky plays. Might have even been 2, actually. I'm pretty sure that was 2 Warrens. But yeah, because they were camouflaged, by just rallying here, he's able to control when they appear. And obviously Field Marshal has to move back to defend his priority tier 3. Gentleman using these chameleons very effectively. And going for 6 Falcon Warrens, as well as another set of chameleons. Loses a chameleon there, but he takes some squirrels down with him. Not the best, not the worst. I mean, it's actually pretty fine for Gentleman. He's so far ahead on economy that basically any trade is a good trade. Now, I don't think this is going to go well for Weasel. He's only got 10 squirrels to shoot up. That's not a lot. Oh, and he's starving. He has to sell his pigeons, so the boar's not going to be able to do much tanking. Oh, Gentleman's going to come in for a lizard base race, it looks like, as he moves out. Or just bring his lizards in from behind. This will be good for Weasel. Okay. Gentleman sold some of the lizards. But it's still doing its bit of making the army turn around. The boar actually does a lot of damage, but it doesn't kill any of the falcons. None of the falcons die. There's just so few squirrels that it just gets burst down so quickly. That was a tough game for Weasel. His early aggression didn't pay off. He really needed to expand earlier. Although I am surprised. I think he was surprised as well that he got so little value. In fact, he didn't get any value. He lost value on his initial attack. He had such a larger army. But somehow, Gentleman just held with just a good defender's advantage and a squizzard comp. He held so effectively. And since after that, Field Marshal Weasel basically had to just commit to the all-in or expand. And he picked commit. Don't think it was the right choice. It was not the choice I would have made. We only know it's the wrong choice because of hindsight. So I don't think we can be too harsh on him. My personal playstyle is a lot less aggressive, so it's not what I would have done. But that loses me as many games as it wins. In fact, it loses me probably a fair bit more. Feels like I confuse Weasel and Gentleman all the time. Does it? I don't feel like I do. Gentleman is like... These are both pretty old players. What I keep doing is that I keep mixing up Weasel's name because he changes the thing at the front. I know him as Lieutenant Weasel. And then he was Citizen Weasel. And now he's gone to Field Marshal Weasel. And it's just messing with my head. Anyway, a very interesting deck switch from both players. Field Marshal Weasel sticking in the lizards and the falcons, taking out the barbed wire and the boar. Whereas Gentleman's completely swapping his deck up, going for lizard, ferret, owl, fox, wire, balloon. Bit of an odd one. I'm not sure why he changed over to that, and I don't have time to think through it now, because Weasel has gone through for an early double tier 1 rush, and it's not quite it is working. It wasn't working, and then it is now, but now it's not again. Okay, so he's going to go back. He sells one of the Warrens, which means he's going to be hard pressed to defend. This Warren is very far forward and in an awkward place. Oh, he sold that Warren. I don't think that's the right choice at all, because now these Warrens are too close. They're going to go right down, and Weasel just instantly surrenders. That's disappointing. We don't get to see the owl-fox shenanigans or the ferret dance, because Weasel just gets too aggressive. That's a shame. Alright, well, long live King James, I suppose, as Blues now take another territory. I wonder if Weasel is a little bit rusty. Like, he's been playing in the tournament, but I don't know, I feel like that was a pretty beginner mistake for Weasel to make, to sell all his army as he was being attacked. So the Royal Knights are going to steal another territory. And in fact, I'm pretty sure I just watched it happen live. Okay. What else are we doing? We need to go back to week 2. We've got Marauder games coming up. So we've got to go back to week 2 and watch Rush versus Koroticus, which is a mercenary v mercenary game where they're just fighting for 5 meat. Which is important for mercs because they need to... They can only get into the finals by getting enough meat. That was game 2, Coloru. That was game 2. No, for some reason we're only doing 1 match in week... from week 3. I'm not sure why. If you've finished the game, then, I don't know. Let's get Gent on the line and call him up. But as for now, Pigeon Rush versus Koroticus. The commanders don't mean anything here. It's most likely that Gent and... well, Gent was live. It's most likely that... what were their names? Rubber Gub and Cyanide were the only ones who submitted their games in time. I don't know when you did yours. Oh wait, if pick gentlemen, if you've got a Coloru game, then send it over to me. I love casting Coloru. His games are always fun. Anyway, I should talk about this game because we're seeing more early aggression. As Pigeon Rush is gonna try and come in. Anyway, Pigeon Rush loses that rush due to a mixture of the high ground and the cabin. Goes very poorly for him. He's going to have to go back and eco up. Okay, so what we got? I haven't gone through the decks yet. Koroticus running Squirrel, Mole, Falcon, Skunk, Fox, Mine. Bit of unusual one that. And Pigeon Rush going with Squirrel, Pigeon, Skunk, Snake, Wolf, Mine. Why do I think Koroticus' deck is strange? I don't know, it's basically the This Guy deck. Except with Fox as its tier 3 and no pigeons. Yeah, Epicosity was around. Yeah, he's in green. He's right there. It's unlikely that the Kerpers will fail, Coloru. They're currently winning. Okay, so Skunk's coming out for Koroticus. Keep getting the players mixed up. Koroticus' name... character icon at the top is on Pigeon Rush's side, but never mind about my inability to tell right from left. Koroticus is coming in and getting some serious damage done, which with a good Squirrel Mole push. Now he's on the high ground. It shouldn't be too much of a problem because Pigeon Rush has got pigeons, but this is looking bad. And now the Skunks have arrived. Pigeon Rush was just too greedy with this mill, taking 3 farms. And Pigeon Rush is doing his typical thing of never surrendering, but he's pretty much done for at this point. A good this guy push completely seals the deal. But that's only game one. Pigeon Rush will have a chance to make a comeback. Get that all-important 5 meat. Okay. Oh, hello, Lego Man. Oh, right. Game 2. And decks are changing up. Pigeon Rush has done the character switch, and with it his loadout changes to Lizard, Pigeon, Mole, Skunk, Snake, Chameleon. Oh, this guy is known for the Squirrel, Mole, Skunk push. That's the this guy push. He totally knows that he does it. We've been calling that this guy push for, like, at least a season now. Like a year? It's been the this guy push. Like, it's his thing. Yep, and the 3 pigeons, the skunks always get away at 1 health. It's just so annoying. Anyway, Karoticus, he's changed up his deck quite a bit as well. Squirrel, Lizard, Mole, Ferret, Wolf, Mine. I'm really hoping we'll get to see some ferret buffed wolves. Some wolf buff ferrets. What the fuck is wrong with me? Why can't I talk? Jesus Christ. Ferret buffed wolves. Anyway, I was about to say that we're seeing a little less aggression this game, but that turns out to not be true. Not true at all. As both players stick down 2 very forward Warrens. Now, ooh. This is looking bad for Pigeon Rush. Lizards aren't good on defense. Going down in numbers just to clear out a mine is a bad idea, I think. And he's spreading out his DPS. He needs to target. He's also spent 60 food on that mill at the back. And this is getting worse and worse. These forward Warrens means he's got nowhere to retreat to. I mean, forward Warrens are good if you've got it like Karoticus, where you can... Basically, forward Warrens are a bit of an all-in play. Like, if you put your Warrens that far forward, you need to be really sure you can defend them. And that's safer to do with squirrels than it is lizards, because squirrels are much better at defending. Lizards are terrible at defending. So you need something else to, you know, really swing it in your favour. So, we guess we're not going to see a game 3. Don't think any of them have gone to game 3 yet, have they? I think we've just seen 2 O's. And pretty quick ones as well. Yeah, I don't think forward Lizard Warrens are very necessary. You don't save that much time. With forward Squirrel Warrens, it can actually save quite a bit, but with Lizards, you might as well put them further back. So I guess we'll go to Rubbergub versus Cyanide, which is a week 3 game. So we've been jumping backwards and forwards in time. But this is still for 5 meat. By the way, I should check. Am I playing anyone? Not yet. Oh, wait, we're doing a free-for-all. Never mind. I've only been picked for free-for-alls. I don't know what it is about me, but I've only been picked for free-for-alls so far. Thought I would have to leave for classes before the stream ended. Well, lucky you. Okay, so we got Cyanide versus 8-year-old Vin Diesel, aka Rubber Gub. And what the fuck is Cyanide's deck? Colours don't matter as both players are mercenaries, but Toad Pigeon as his only tier 1, then Ferret Boar Badger Balloon. You don't pick... Okay, so that's genuinely random. That, I mean, it looks random. Oh, okay, so Diesel's running a pretty... I mean, it's not that standard, actually. Squirrel, Toad, Ferret, Falcon, Skunk, Owl. It's not that standard. The Ferrets and the Toads are pretty unusual. But, you know, it's within the realm of feasibility. Cyanide. I can't help but, you know, I can't be unbiased here. I want Cyanide to make this deck somehow work. Okay, Terminal, don't you dare give any spoilers about what happens. Okay, so he's then gone for double mills instantly. Whereas, while Vin Diesel comes in with 8 squirrels, what the fuck is he trying to do? Okay, so now he sells all his warrens. Okay. Do you have a plan? I mean, Cyanide, Vin Diesel is doing the wrong thing here. He should just be focusing on this mill. This mill is doing nothing. Has he even seen this mill? He has. He knows about this mill. He hasn't planned around the toads. Oh, and the campfire. The campfire's saving Cyanide. Destroying all of Diesel's reinforcements so the pigs can pick off enough that Diesel is forced to retreat. Cyanide taking a mill right next to Diesel's base while he messes up Toads. I think he might be going for a base trade. But he's got to deal with this campfire as well. Oh, and here comes Diesel. Now, Cyanide has an army this time. It's not a great army. 12 toads against 12 squirrels. I'd probably favour the squirrels. Okay, how is Cyanide going to do this? He's going to lose all his warrens. He's going to lose all his warrens here. These toads are all going to blow up. Is this even enough? That is enough! With 1 toad to spare! Which then blows up on the fucking warrens doing nothing. Okay, so what the fuck, Cyanide? So that was pretty cool. That was worth the end. That may have made the whole game worth it, but doesn't Cyanide just die here? Yes, he does. Well, I think Cyanide won the moral victory there. I mean, that was about as good as we could have hoped for, to be honest. Alright. Let's see what Game 2 will bring us. Okay, Squirrel, Toad, Falcon, Boar, Badger, Balloon. I'm curious whether Rubber Gub has randomed as well, because taking Boar and Badger is unusual, but taking both of them without pigeons is really weird. But Cyanide, Toad, Pigeon, Snake, Boar, Wolf, Wire. Another Toad Pigeon deck. So hopefully Cyanide can make it work a bit better this time. I think what he needs to do is rush a Snake. And what the fuck is going on here? Rubber Gub, why? Are you that... Maybe... I think Cyanide has put the fear of base trades into him. Cyanide, you are rapidly on your way to becoming one of my favourite players in the game. I really hope you manage to win. I mean, the snakes are actually going to be pretty useful in this deck. They're going to really destroy the Boar Badger that Diesel's got as his late game. They can fight evenly with the Falcons. They'll be fine against the Toads. They'll do well enough against Balloons. It's just the squirrels he's got to worry about. But he's getting on his squirrels very quickly. Rubber Gub didn't scout that tier 2 until too late. And holy shit, the Snake Rush. The Snake Rush is doing it. It's two tags per pig. That's all you need. And he's got pigeons coming to keep these healthy. And that's 8 farms down. Diesel. Well, we're finally going to get to game 3. Not in the way I thought we'd get there, but finally one of the matches goes to game 3. But no Toads. So, was it even really a win? If the Toads don't blow up on the mill, can you really even call it a Toad Pigeon deck? Okay. Alright. Lizard, Toad, Ferret, Cam, Owl, Wire against Pigeon, Mole, Falcon, Wolf, Fox, Balloon. So, it's not a Pigeon Toad deck again. But it's not far off. And that said, I think moles are probably... Mole Pigeon is definitely going to be more useful than Pigeon Toad. What the fuck am I even supposed to say about these games? So, Cyanide's going for fucking Mole Rush. I don't know if it will work. He's looking like he'll get a farm. He's forced to sell. He's forced to sell on 2. He's gone back and built a pigeon so that he can come fly it over and keep his mole healthy. I don't know what he's trying to get done with this mole. It's just getting blasted. And I haven't even commented on the fact that 8-year-old Diesel deck looks like he's also going random. The lizards can hit the falcons. Speaking of lizards, there's enough out here that Cyanide's going to have to retreat. He probably wants to sell this mole warren before he does so. But I don't think he'll get there in time. Oh! One mole comes out to hold the line. Gives its life for the cause. Cyanide manages to, you know, cut his losses. But if Diesel figures out he can just come over, it looks like he's not going to. Oh, is he? He's coming over. Interestingly, Cyanide is keeping the pigeons. Oh no, Diesel, you're not bringing your... In all fairness for Diesel, would you expect your opponent to not have any squirrels? Cyanide stacks Falcons, he can win this. No, no. Mass Falcon will lose to an equal amount of lizards. If you have the same amount of food in Falcons and lizards, then the lizards will win. Okay, what I'm hoping we get to see is the Wolf Fox. But, I've just noticed this, Cyanide's base is fucking dreadful. Like, this is his next expansion. Or he's got to come out here. How the fuck's he supposed to hold this? If he does, then he can stick up balloons and actually be in with a decent shot, but how the fuck's he supposed to do that with just moles? Oh, here we go. A one-base wolf. Cyanide's really behind on economy. I think it's probably worth trying to take this base. I mean, Diesel is never going to run through this water. Like, it's going to take him too long. I mean, he might try and do... It doesn't really get him an advantage. He doesn't know that the mill's there, so he's not going to try and attack it. So this mill is probably pretty safe. But that's still really bad when you compare it to what Diesel's got to work with. Where basically every other base goes to Diesel. Alright, mass lizards through a choke point against mole pigeons with the pigs helping out. It's going very far in favour of the lizards. One farm down, 2 farms down. The moles finally hold, but the wolf wasn't paid for. And now Cyanide's in a bit of a sticky situation. He just needed a bit of extra time to get the necessary funds, and then that wolf would be building. And that would be a huge deal. I mean, wolf buff... I got to imagine wolf buff moles beat lizards. Because then they've got better... they've got similar attacks, higher health. They'll move faster. I mean, like, the speed is the main problem. The speed and DPS is the main problem for moles when fighting lizards. And the wolf will solve that, so they'll just be tankier lizards, basically. But man, I don't know if this is going to work. I love the play of putting down mole warrens to distract the opponent. But I don't think Cyanide's going to be allowed the time to pull this off. It was a valiant effort. We don't get to see the wolf mole, which is unfortunate. And in under an hour, we've actually finished all the games. But my god. What a... That last match between Rubadub and Cyanide. It was worth it. The whole stream was worth it just for those 3 games. Did I get sent Colaroo? I didn't notice. Oh, I did. Thank God. Ugh. Okay. Sorry about the brief intermission. Alright, Eel versus Coloru. Probably not going to be... Will it live up to the hype that was Rubber Gub versus Cyanide? I don't know. But it's probably going to be better than Gent versus Weasel. Alright, so we got Squirrel, Toad, Mole, Snake, Owl, Balloon for Eel against Squirrel, Lizard, Falcon, Boar, Fox, Wire. Boar Fox is an interesting combination, but I have seen it before. I think it was Eris who used to do it. The idea is that Boar counters Mass Tier 1, which the Fox is weak to, and the Fox counters Snake or Falcons or Tier 2s that the Boar is weak to. Let's see here. I should have checked this, but I didn't because I'm not that smart. Coloru is fighting... Okay, it's attack versus attack, so it's only 2 victory points to be won, no matter who wins. It's blue versus red. And blue just won a territory, so I don't think this is going to win them a territory. So this won't win them a territory, this will just move them closer to the next territory. But Eel, going to have to do what he can. Because red need a win. Red really need to stem the bleeding. But then again, blue has made a massive comeback in the space of 1 or 2 weeks, so there's no reason why red or green couldn't. I think green is still... Green and red are now tied, I believe, for territories. And blue is creeping out ahead. I think it's 11 for blue and then 8 for everyone else. Bit of barbed wire down. I think that's mainly to scout. Let Coloru know if Eel plans on coming in there, because the water basically slows down any units and blocks it off. Anyway, Eel going for the owl. The owl rush. That's a... Is that going to get scouted? It's not. Coloru doesn't see it. He just sees the tier 1 and says, yeah, that's probably it. Okay. Map-wise, it's definitely a rough one for Eel. He doesn't have an easy expansion in either direction. Especially with lizards who can do quick runarounds, because even with all this water... I mean, this water in the way does mean it's going to take slightly longer for blue to get round. So if Eel is really on top of his scouting, then he could expand here. He's got to be worried about the lizard run-bys, but given how slow they're going to move through this water, even with their Swift, then it's possible that he could, you know, at least if he sees the lizard's gone, he knows he needs to move over here, is basically what I'm trying to get, is the point I'm trying to get to. Ooh, Coloru still hasn't seen the tier 3. He still thinks there's a tier 2 coming out. He's going to be very surprised. Okay, Coloru's going for his own ball now. Eel has got a base up. Coloru's gone for a lot of defences, but the barbed wire will basically just be a roadblock to the mice. They shred that stuff. The boar, however, will be a much bigger problem. Eel has mainly got tier 1. Okay, Coloru has seen the owl now. Oh, I like this. Eel's being really smart about this. He knows that he's got to worry about a lizard run by. So he's left his toads at his main base. That's pretty smart. Eel's playing this pretty well, but what does he do if the boar comes out? He hasn't scouted it, but he is getting some snakes. I think he needs more. Like, the boar is still probably going to kill. With only 2 snakes, the boar is probably going to kill all of these, all of this tier 1. Okay. Now, lizard's coming in. The toads are all over on the right, so they're probably not going to be able to do much. And he actually rallies the toads away. Ah, he rallied all accidentally, which meant this play of leaving the toads here to guard the home base ended up doing nothing. I mean, only 1 farm gets caught out. The bigger problem is this tier 3 one going down. That's not that big a problem. I mean, basically, you're going to be trying to keep your tier 3 alive as long as possible anyway, and not let it die. So, that doesn't really matter, since it's already out. These falcons from Coloru should get gunned down fairly quickly. It's the boar that's a real problem. Because there are snakes available, but they're not in the right place. They're at the back of the army, and this boar is just wading through the water, roasting squirrels and moles. And these snakes are getting burst down very quickly. And speaking of burst down very quickly, this mill just went in a flash. Okay, the snakes go down, the boar goes down. Eel is still has a good army. The problem is he's lost his 1 farming mill. Okay, I think he can push. I think he should push. I think he's now in a do or die situation. He just needs to get back in time to put down a mill, a warren. Oh, and he's leaving his army unmicroed. I don't think that was the right choice. I think he would either needed to go in or pull back, but he tried to do both at the same time. And now I think Eel's lost the game, because he's lost all his squirrels. That was his 1 army. He needed to win with that army he had there. But he's given Coloru too much time. He's let him rebuild. You can see there between 5 minutes and about 5:50, Eel had a much higher army value. Alright. Game 2. Squirrel, mole, skunk, snake, wire, balloon against lizard, toad, pigeon, skunk, fox, mine. Okay, so Coloru running a bit of a weird one again. No squirrels. Always like to see a no squirrel deck. The pigeons are a bit odd in that deck. They can work with the skunks pretty well. And they're not bad with a fox. I'm curious why he took out the boar. Given that... Well, I guess he saw the snakes, and he expects Eel to expect the boar now. So he's trying to plan around Eel's plan. But what's Eel trying to do now? He's cut his owl. He's got no tier 3. But he's got 2 defences. See, I think you'd usually take barbed wire and balloon if you do have an owl. Because that means you can, you know, defend a lot better, eco up a lot. And use that eco to get just a huge number of owls. If I was Eel, I probably would... Well, let's ignore what I would do, because Coloru's coming in with lizards, forcing the cell on the the farm. Getting 11 value out of it. But then having to retreat. As eels, squirrels come out and the expansion goes up. But he's coming in again. It's looking like he'll do alright. There aren't that many squirrels out. Another farm gets sold. This warren's probably going to go down. 3 squirrels can hold. Especially with the mill tanking that effectively. Alright. So, this wire is also good. It forces Coloru to come round through this mill. Or to, you know, come down here. You know, come in the complete opposite direction of the way I said he had to go. You know, he could also do that. If he really wants to make me look like a complete moron. Anyway, about a minute ago, before this all happened, I was saying how I think Eel should have the owl. I think it would work better than moles in this deck. But we'll see. He's being pretty greedy here, trying to stick down 2 farms. It's always weird to see people being greedy when they've been under so much pressure. But I think a part of it is just trying to overcome the deficit that Coloru's put him at. Because this pressure now has got 3 farms. I think Coloru needs to... not Coloru, Eel needs to attack here. Lizards are bad at defending. The thing is, they're not that bad at defending. They can probably do this with the numbers they've got. Maybe not if both of these warrens go down, and if these moles come up. That's actually really good for Eel, getting all those warrens. Okay. This could swing the other way yet. Coloru is only at 7 farms. And Eel's got a place to heal his units right on the front lines. If he gets another group of squirrels, it's a long way for them to run, but now that he's got them, he could do some serious damage here. Okay, he's taking out the lizards first, that's a good call. He gets 1 pig. He moves his squirrels out of range to get the warren. That makes sense. He's focusing on the warrens rather than the pigs, which I think is probably the right call. He sells some more warren, which is good. He was supply blocked. And now economies are evened up again. But Eel has a better army, and he has the tempo. I think he's about to win. And Eel does it. Eel brings it back with a solid counterattack. And we're going to game 3. That was good aggression by Coloru, but unfortunately, lizards can't defend. He lost too many lizards on the assault. And then he wasn't able to defend the counterattack because lizards need superior numbers to defend. Alright. So, Eel, sticking with the same deck. Squirrel Mole, Skunk Snake, Wire Balloon. Coloru is changing it up, dropping the lizards. Squirrel, Ferret, Falcon, Cam, Snake, Wolf. That is an interesting one. It makes sense. Tier 2s work well with each other, and they work really well with Wolf. It's a very flexible deck. I actually kind of like Coloru's deck. When I run 4 tier 2s, I run them with Pigeon, and I run Skunk instead of Ferret. But that's mainly because I suck at ferrets. And running them with a wolf makes sense. I run pigeons because it's really important to keep your army alive when it's A, that expensive, and B, so slow to build. The tempo you get is, or rather, the tempo you lose if your units go down is huge. So you need to keep them alive as much as you can. So I think pigeons are useful for that. But if he can get to the late game, if he can actually get this wolf out, then I don't think Eel's going to be able to deal with it. Alright, so we've got early snakes coming out from Colouroo, but we've got a mole rush with early squirrels coming out from Eel. Okay, so one of these snakes is out. How good is Colouroo's micro going to be? There aren't enough squirrels here to just burst it down. And with the pigs, I think Colouroo should be able to hold this. Especially because Eel isn't really microing his units. He does get one pig. But he's in an awkward spot now. Because if he sells, then he's just... They're going to have the same... He's going to have such a weaker army. And this forward Warren... We keep seeing the forward Warrens backfire. So I think Eel might be about to lose the game to early snakes. Yeah. He's down to just one squirrel, who's doing its best, but... And now, with this forward territory, the snakes are going to heal so quickly. They get a reptile regen, they heal 3 times as fast in friendly territory. Like, Eel's only chance against the snakes is to mass squirrel, but Colouroo's got more squirrels than him. Eel's fighting bravely. He's only 1 farm behind at the moment. Colouroo again staying at 7 farms, but... Okay. Colouroo goes back, sticks down his 8th farm. No, he sticks it down here. And he's getting out his tier 2. This is looking really bad for Eel. Like, that army graph is ridiculous. But Colouroo's commander goes down. Maybe Eel can make something happen here. It does not look like it. It very much does not look like that at all. With the units being on the Warrens, there was not really much Eel could do. Like, Colouroo didn't really need to micro his army there. Now the ferret is out, blasting away piglets. Like, at this point, Eel... It would almost be worth Eel trying to, you know, just mole rush. Do some mole shenanigans. But I don't think there's any way he's going to get away with this. I think this is GG. And when I say I think, I really mean I know. And that's bad for red. The penal squads... Is that the penal squad or the Legion? The red teams. The Legion. The Legion's losses just continue and continue. They've been having a rough time of it. Now, it's only 2 victory points, but when you're this far behind, you need all that you can. Blue, at the moment, is just extending their lead further and further. Just James just flashing his cash. Just paying mercs. Hiring all the good mercs, outbidding everyone else. Bribing certain players to throw games. sabotaging the competition. Alright. So now, that really is the last game. We really are done. Legion is on a 10-loss streak. Ooh. I look forward to reading about that in the Gazette. Okay, now it's not over for them. Blue, let's change this over so we can see the map. Okay, this is a map as it stands now. I don't think these bars are updated, but maybe they are. Actually, I think now they are, because those are the two that the Royal Knights would have won. So I think now it's back. But I'll probably be told by gentlemen in like 5 seconds. Okay, so blue was getting really dominated, like heavily early on. Refresh. Okay. But now they've mounted a huge comeback, and red and green are feeling the pressure. I think red has gone into last place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, it's looking rough for red. They are now in last place. Now, admittedly, that is because green hasn't played any games in the new week yet. The free-for-all game is going to have to happen tomorrow. That's between me, Brandy, and Zon. It's looking like James is going to retain his crown. How long has James retained his crown for now? Like, because he held it throughout the pyramid, didn't he? And he did he win it the season before that? He held it through the pyramid. Then we had the, what was it, like the 12 boss? And that was, he was king then as well. Like, James has been king for a while. Because I think it was the one I think it was the season before the boss tourney where he won the crown off Mishi. I'm a mercenary. I have been hired by the penal squad. Let's see. I am here. This is the free-for-all. Zon, Brandy, and Tosh. That's me. So, if I won, that would be 4 for green. I guess on both players, both teams, move them up. And don't worry, this time I'm not throwing a game. If the Royal Knights want this one, they're gonna have to earn it. Besides, I got a reputation to uphold. Like, I'd rather be... Like, I was genuinely worried last week that people would think I didn't throw the game and was just bad. Like, I'd rather be known as a traitor than an idiot. And it's not being a traitor, because I'm a mercenary. My loyalty is to the money. That's my logic, and I'm sticking to it. Alright. So, fuck.